If you have any questions, I will try to answer them. This moment, now, of this particular situation is a very peculiar one. You need not talk if you don't want to. You may merely sit. Merely sitting here at this particular time will be of great benefit. The moment, the auspicious symptom, and it will give the most amazing results. Incredible. This moment itself, this touch of I amness, is just a pinprick, just a touch. If you apperceive what I have said, there is no reason to visit me again. What I have told you is not something to be wondered over or pondered over for a period of time. It is a matter to be apperceived immediately. Have you had this way of expounding knowledge anywhere else in quietude? At Ramana everybody was silent there too. How long were you with Ramana? Only a short while. How is it that I have been so fortunate as to find Maharaj now? Something good you have done in your past life. If you had not done your homework, you would not have visited this place. The rare, lucky ones will visit this place and listen to the talks. I have different experiences of warmth, seeing light, and I'm afraid. Don't worry about experiences. Try to abide in the experiencer. The experiences are good indications of your development, but don't stagnate at the level of experience. I usually feel that I am this or that, but I am losing this. I am feeling more detached, not interested in the world. During the experience of the shedding away of these concepts, I feel a sense of death and fear. Yes, it will go on like that. So long as you are, such things are bound to happen. You have to transcend the I am. If you are alert, focusing your attention on the moment, the I am is a continuous moment. You transcend the I am. Can we understand our real nature through consciousness? Can we grasp it? Is there any other instrument through which you can understand your true nature? Whatever is can be perceived by all, is perceived by all. Who wants to grasp it? You as a separate entity want to know that which is, as the Absolute. It can't be done, because you are the Absolute. Where does the one who has attained Samadhi go? The seeker himself has disappeared. If the seeker is a concept, then the guru is also a concept. Yes, but that guru is the support for all seeking. So long as there is word, there is seeker. When the word vanishes, there is nothing. I have experienced all four kinds of speech and transcended them. Rarely will anybody follow this hierarchy to stabilize in the consciousness and transcend consciousness. Starting from Vekhara, word, normally we listen to words. From Vekhara we go to Madhyama, mind thought. In watching the mind, we are in Pashayanti, where the concept formation takes place. From there to Para, I am, without words. And finally, from Para to prior to consciousness. This is the line to follow, but only a rare one follows it, receding, reversing. Is deep sleep and the state prior to the I am one and the same? As a concept, it is the same thing. Until you become that, there will be no one to know. Not only that, but whatever actions are done, whether through you or me, are originally done within that state of deep sleep. In sleep, you dream. This being awake state is the primary dream. The dream in the sleeping state is the secondary dream. It is the transformation of the primary dream. In the state of consciousness, in the primary dream, the entire universe is created, and when it is realized that it is a dream, then you are awake. Both dreams are consciousness. Then the actor cannot know that he is dreaming? That is exactly the beauty of Maya, the whole heart of it. Understand that the basis of whatever dream it is consciousness. This sense of entity that one has, which has been created by the mind, when the consciousness itself disappears, what happens to that sense of entity? Is there anyone who knows that he is dead? It is only the others who say that he is dead. If the consciousness and the mind were the ultimate truth, then all those millions of forms which have been created and destroyed would have the knowledge of their existence. In this country, in this life, you acquire something, but the rule of the land is that whatever has been acquired cannot be taken out of the country. Whatever you acquire is because of consciousness. But the law of the land of this life is that nothing can be taken away. Once consciousness disappears, everything is gone. How does man behave in the world? He forgets what it is that is really functioning. He forgets that the forms are only instruments to the functioning of consciousness. He considers himself an entity and spends his whole life working hard, trying to achieve something. This motivation for all is the sense of me and mine. All kinds of forms are being created and destroyed continuously. That is part of the functioning. If there is nothing to be achieved by an entity, then what is the purpose of this spiritual seeking? What is to be understood is all that is functioning is the consciousness. No entity is involved. Then what is the use of understanding? There is no benefit for any supposed entity. There should be no sense of even a benefit out of this understanding. You are the understanding. Who is to get the benefit? That which apprehends this has no shape or form. The forms are created by the 5 elements. At the end of their span of time, they are destroyed. If you live for 100 years, nothing will be of any benefit to you. I have obviously understood all this, and yet I have made sufficient provision for my new flat to be constructed. Understand what might appear as contradiction. But there is no contradiction so long as one sees all this as a part of total functioning. Will this appear to any normal person as something reasonable? Can Maharaj tell us how the different traps can be separated and avoided? You had better get some hefty people to cut up the 5 elements into little bits. Then you will have this separation. It is just one. Consciousness itself is the trap. Forget all your questions. Merely concentrate on the source of this consciousness because of which everything else is. How did this body arrive? And within it, this consciousness, which is latent. Find out the source of this. Maharaj has brought us back to the root. I threw you at the root and buried you, and in that state in which I have buried you, there is nothing to be known, because in that state consciousness is not. Once this is clearly apperceived, so long as the body is there, life must go on, but life appears merely as a series of entertainments. You should understand from what standpoint I am talking. If you understand, you take it, otherwise you leave it. Nobody in the world will tell you so bluntly. When you really intuitively understand what I mean, then you will come to the end of spirituality. Why does the identification seem to change constantly? In consciousness, the identification with an individual will keep on changing. But once the identity is lost, it is possible to remain in total manifestation. Can I reach the absolute state while consciousness is there? In that state, there is no one to be conscious, so there is no question of reaching that state as long as consciousness is present. But I thought Maharaj said that state is where knowledge is absorbed in knowledge, and knowledge is not aware of itself. The instrument has to be there, and consciousness is the instrument. In consciousness, consciousness is conscious of itself. But in the state prior to the arising of consciousness, who is there, and with what instrument can one be conscious? In that state which is not tainted by anything, there is no conditioning. Take the example of space. In space there is darkness and light. The space is there whether darkness or light is there. In the same way, the state prior to consciousness is always there. Right now, it is there. It is the substratum of everything. Ajnani is one who abides in that state of space in spite of body and mind. What is the practice? Is it meditation only? You must possess that confirmation that you are formless, designless. Not only rely on meditation. Always insist that you are formless, free, and are not conditioned. You must hammer on this constantly. That is the practice. I have longer times when I am disassociated from the body-mind. I don't understand what is happening to me when I see the body act and feel outside of it. What is wrong with that? You must have a strong conviction. That conviction means practicing. That conviction means not only I am, but it means I am free from I am also. You know you are without words. Just be that. You are not to think or imagine anything. Before it occurs to you that something is, you must be. You must be there in order to meditate. When you wake up the first thing in the morning, at that moment, you know only you are, emerging from deep sleep to a waking state. Later on, you think, I am so-and-so, etc. In meditation, I hear sounds and I see visions. To hear something, you must be there. The state is a most godly state, but it is more important to be yourself. There is always fear. The fear is because of ignorance. It is not external sound, it is the manifestation of your consciousness. The godly illumination is there, provided the self-effulgence is there. To see God, you must be there. To get to know the knower is difficult. It is something like knowing a township. It is not individualistic. It is manifestation. When you are that manifest consciousness state, it is something like a deep dark blue state. You are in that homogeneous deep dark blue state. That is the first step of beingness. From that deep dark blue self-effulgent homogeneous state into no knowingness state. That is your true identity. It is a no knowingness state, a total, complete, perfect state. In that knowingness state, everything is imperfect. Is never complete. That is why you want more and more. In spite of plenteousness, the knowingness state is incomplete. What is the effect of death? The effect is upon those who know that the person is dead and gone. There is no effect on the one who is dead and gone. He doesn't know he is dead and gone. The body is made of food. The true you is not in this body. A lot can be said, but you will not be able to receive what I say. Suppose I say that you are not. The Brahman is not. Will you understand? You are so much obsessed by death because of your identification with the body. Because you are thinking of death, death is sure for you. But if you are the self, there is no question of death for you. By reading the book of Maharaj's talks, I feel great freedom and joy. I think I'm experiencing the living word. What is it which was experiencing this? It was the sense of presence. I have read so many books, but this was a new revelation, a new experience. Why don't I get the same experience from other books? I am not going to accept any of your compliments. Your questions are from the body-mind level, and you will accept the answers on the same level. You are riding the horse of body identification. I want to know why I get such experiences from reading your book and not from others. I am not interested in your experiences. I am interested only in you. The talker and the listener are one. Most of the others who come here may be said to be in a state similar to that of having had a really good dinner. They have had their fill, and now they are chewing the cud like a cow. They are not interested in further food. That is why there are no questions. If someone like you doesn't arrive and ask questions, there will be no questions. You have to come to seek knowledge, and you are knowledge. Dakshinamurti taught his disciples in silence. Hang Dakshinamurti. That is hearsay, something you have read or heard. What is your experience? I am here, and you are here. Ask questions. Why is it that some die young and others live a long life? Will there be birth or death without the consciousness or self? When you say that they die young or live long, those that are born actually, what logic does the self know? Does the sun know when it sets or rises? First, understand what it is that is born, and then this mystery will be solved. The body is born, the self is not born. If the self is not there, can the body be born? What do you understand by the word birth? Are you born? As long as we identify with the body, we are born. I talk only to the consciousness about the consciousness. The common man will not understand. What is the way to understand? What is there to do? The quickest way. Understanding and being in that true nature is the task. There's no other God than this sense of presence. And I am this sense of presence. Understanding this with conviction is the quickest way. Understand that original state when there was none other. That is true knowledge. My true nature. Plenty of avatars have come and gone, but that space is there all the time. How does one overcome basic ignorance? What is it that understands there is something like ignorance? Knowledge understands. Understand that you are that knowledge, and forget about ignorance. Any beautiful music when it is heard, any dancing girl when she dances, if by all this nobody is moved, he is neither a jnani or a donkey. Here is a roomful of such people who will not be moved by the beauty of anything. I am in that state where there is total absence of any concept of presence or absence. You are also that state, but you don't know it. My consciousness is not very effective. There is no recognition now of anybody as an individual, a person. If you can feel like sitting, you are welcome. Whenever you feel like going, you can go. By the grace of Maharaj, I find that now my eyes are able to see and my ears are able to hear. What the eyes see and the ears hear is only the false. Both will disappear. You are that which witnesses. What is understood and practiced by the common Hindu man as spirituality is that water from the river is carried in a vessel and poured over an image of God. Some of these images have been placed so that one has to climb 500 steps to reach them. This is considered to bring great merit. They collect water in brass vessels in Benares from the Ganges. They carry that water, walking all the way to South India, to Rameshwara, and pour it on the idol. And they will take the seawater from Rameshwara back to Benares and pour it over the head of the idol there. This is their concept of liberation. Water is taken from one place and carried to another. What a strenuous concept! What we hear at the feet of Maharaj is something that is ever new. What I am telling you about can never be new or old. It is unchanging, everlasting. This consciousness in which concepts arise is itself a concept. And so long as consciousness remains, all other concepts will continue to arise. The absolute manifest is what is. Whatever we think about the absolute state can only be a concept, until the consciousness ends and we are in that absolute state. One achieves something and one guards it, but how long can you guard it? Only until you are in deep sleep. You have a fond concept and you hang on to it all day, and in deep sleep, where is that concept? How does Maharaj talk to us if he does not accept individuality? The sun does not shine for individuals. The words come out of the consciousness spontaneously as part of the total functioning. There are any number of experiences. Some of them you like and you keep them in your memory and pamper them. That itself is suffering. All your experiences should be just part of the total functioning happening spontaneously. I am not inclined to collect more people and expound knowledge because I am not able to deliver myself as something tangible to you. Krishnamurti is talking. I am also talking. There is no substance in that. You are recording the talks and writing it down. In the final analysis, there is no substance in that. Once it is realized that it is only a total functioning of the manifest consciousness and there is no individual entity, there will be no question of liberation, of birth or death, or of a doer doing anything. Normally, in the name of spirituality, knowledge is expounded. Knowledge is in the realm of the 5 elements, and it is talked about as real or unreal as long as the knowledge I am is there. It is a product of the knowledge I am. A jnani is that state from which witnessing of the knowledge I am takes place. In that jnani state, there is no touch of I amness. It is a quality-less state, and it is not knowledge. Knowledge means I amness. Suppose there are no thoughts. Time has stopped, but space will be there. A thought-free state is something like space, space-like. I am the witness that the thought-free state is there. That is the self I am, the being. Because the being is there, having removed all the pollution, including thought, time has also gone, and space and beingness is there. When that state ends, it is the absolute state, a something sweet-like state. You are just playing with words and the meaning of words. You don't go to the root from where the words emanate. Nobody goes to the root. They are fascinated by the display. When the support of the body-mind is not available, what are you then like? I am in the state beyond suffering and enjoyment. It is said that when knowledge is realized, the devotion persists still, but actually there is no personality left. There is no question of devotion. Devotion to whom? However, they say that devotion is there. It might be for the guidance of other seekers. Even in the highest saints, there is always some doubt about the clarity of I am. And this inquiry of what I am must be gone into at any and all levels. The importance and significance of the inquiry is that no one can give you an answer to this inquiry except yourself. Each one, as I, has to find out what this I is. The merest description that can be given to this consciousness is that it is as fine, as subtle as space. In maturity, your consciousness is God. That original state prior to the arising of consciousness cannot be described, can only be that. I kept on repeating that whatever one listens to ultimately means nothing, because whatever I am, that is exactly what you are. Any action that one takes depends on a certain image that one has about oneself, and that image remains only so long as consciousness is there. Is this clearly understood? People come here with a certain set of concepts. I hold the mirror before them of what they are as a phenomena, and ultimately they realize that as phenomena, they are nothing. And when consciousness departs, they will reach their original state, which was there before the body consciousness arose. In that original state, there was no experience. Even now, any experience that one thinks one has is only a concept. In that state before the consciousness arose, there was no query of who am I, because there was no one who wanted to know that answer. This question arises only in consciousness. Anything in consciousness is only a concept, and therefore it has to be wrong. Out of millions of people, why do only some come here? Obviously, it is when the consciousness has this inquiry in consciousness that it brings people here. Is the I am a concept or the only reality? I am is only a few letters. Has anyone been able to keep this I am in his pocket all the time? I am, but without words? Yes, if whoever feels this I am had knowledge, would he have cared to become this I am? No, he would have said, I don't want this consciousness. I understand. You are unreal. You know that you are. That is also unreal. This sense of presence is an untruth. It is like a dream. How can this I amness be the source of misery? Try to find out when this concept of happiness and unhappiness arose. It was not there until I had this consciousness. Everybody loves this sense of presence and wants to continue for all time, but they don't go further into the past and find out whose ecstasy created this sense of presence. Because of some physical ecstasy, lasting only for an instant, this speck of consciousness in which the entire universe is contained has come into existence. I don't feel the misery of I amness. I feel that everything is right. Does it mean that I don't want to look at the misery? You cannot do anything. You have to enjoy what is. Is it not so? To suffer or to enjoy, you have no choice. Nevertheless, experiences will be there. You may not be involved in experiences, but so long as the I am is there, experiences will be there. The magic, the art of this consciousness is that it has not only hidden the fact that it is the source of all misery, but has made itself the source of all apparent happiness.